Hello again, Burbankers. Mike and Roy here. We had so much success with our last video getting information about Measure B out to the community that we got picked up for 10 episodes.
Yep, and there's lots more to talk about. We thought we would address some of these statements that were made in the last city council meeting. So here we go.
I wanted to report out that last November 2nd, I spoke about B, only Measure B, at the Burbank Kiwanis meeting, who had the graciousness to host a pro and con presentation between myself and Councilmember Gordon.
Well, we are thankful that the Kiwanis folks did have both sides of the story with Measure B. Most of the people we talked to in Burbank that attended realtor meetings, other service club meetings, only heard the yes on B argument, and that's a real concern of ours regarding that and going forward with issues upcoming.
Hooray, there's a new Target on its way on Hollywood Way, and other folks, oh my God, there's going to be a Target on the way to the Hollywood Way. So if you could tell folks essentially what you told me about the current status of that project.
Planning staff is trying to determine whether or not the proposed Target is a grandfathered retail use. If it's a grandfathered retail use, we would treat it as we treat any grandfathered retail use and allow them to open. But we haven't determined that yet based on the previous uses that were there, the most recent previous uses.
It was in Akron. How long ago? And then the piano store is there. There's a big difference.
Real estate office.
Yeah, there's a big difference, though, between the amount of people who are out shopping for a piano or a house and those who would be going to a Target. We need a traffic study. It's going to be a nightmare.
Can I ask one other question, and that's whether, beyond a parking study, would any kind of traffic study be involved if this is grandfathered or not?
Not typically.
Okay.
Not typically. If they require a special entitlement, development review, conditional use permit,
understood, yeah.
that could trigger that.
But if it comes over the counter, no traffic study?
It's very likely no.
Okay.
Yeah.
No traffic study based on the fact that this property was grandfathered in for retail use? That's ridiculous.
Don't forget about our new, much larger airport terminal on the way. The estimate in the report from the airport is 290,000 truck trips on Hollywood Way.
And you know, Roy, we spoke recently with a nice woman who has a small business on Magnolia, and she's having the hardest time being able to do improvements and things because they're telling her she has insufficient parking. So if you're not going to let her make her improvements to her business, I think we need to keep that standard for even a Target.
And finally, I was going to be addressing some of the Measure B election stuff, and I've been so moved by the Be Kind Americans comments earlier that I've decided that I'm not going to go exactly where I was.
That's big of you, Will. We were going to address some of the Measure B issues as well, but we're also inspired by the Be Kind America comments, and so we will refrain from letting you and the rest of our city council know how disappointed we are that you let us down. The vast majority of speakers on Measure B that you heard were residents with concerns that were never addressed, but you chose to support the investors, the real estate conglomerates, the airport authority, the big money that will now profit from the construction of a new terminal.
I would agree. I'm very inspired by this being kind, and I don't want to talk, especially in the holiday season, goodwill towards men. I don't want to talk about that a former city councilman and mayor of Burbank called our group, again, of a grassroots movement here in Burbank that I've never seen in a long time. We even had a march down Hollywood Way and Magnolia, people with signs, kids and strollers, all against Measure B in this unchecked airport expansion. Our group, by this former council member, on social media, we're called rats.
Yeah.
So let's not talk about that.
No. In light of Be Kind America, we won't talk about that. So
I'm with you.
So who are you accountable to? Who is our city council accountable to? The investors, the airport authority, the special interests, or residents?
Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Davis, I've got a request in regards to, there was a lot of concern over the last couple of 3 months from some members of the public in regards to the supermajority vote. I would like to have a discussion in regards to if we as a council can take a vote and say that any future council, when that supermajority vote is triggered, can just, instead of taking a vote at the council level, just mandate it that it goes to the public for a vote.
Thank you, Mayor Telemontes. This is very encouraging. It's good to know that the conversation is ongoing and there might be some light at the end of the tunnel here. We thank you for listening, and we hope that other city council members will follow you.
Yeah, thank you. It's encouraging to know the conversation's not over.
So I was surprised that there was no one here this evening. Ms. Clareman or someone from Preserve Burbank or others, were they aware of this application? They've been watching things very closely.
I don't know.
No. The fact that Sue Clearman was not there at that meeting, or the fact that Roy and I weren't there, or the fact that you didn't have a chamber full of residents, does not mean that our analysis matches yours of any situation. You get paid to be there. You get health care to be there. It's very inconvenient for us to be there. So when you look at an agenda item, please don't just automatically think that if we're not there, we approve it. We don't. We are counting on you to do what's best for residents. I think we've made it kind of clear how we feel about a lot of these issues. So we're counting on you to represent us.
And just because we didn't carve out 5-6 hours on a Tuesday night to attend a meeting like we have done many times, doesn't mean, as you can tell from our video, that we are not watching.
They know that.
Just a few items that I'm going to report out for the last couple of weeks. I attended as liaison to the Burbank Association of Realtors. I attended their monthly meeting.
Oh, that reminds me. Roy, please make sure Dr. Gordon is not on the invite list for the upcoming Save Burbank Neighborhoods Luncheon.
Got it done.
Jess is on, though, right?
Of course.
Of course.
Yes, Councilmember Gordon.
Mr. Mayor, just a point of clarification. I believe you mentioned that you participated in the monthly meeting of the Burbank Association of Realtors. How are you notified of that? Because as you know, we have jointly served, and I was not notified of that event. Were you invited,
Okay.
or how did that work?
Yeah. You have to talk to Lindsay.
Well, thank you, Burbankers. This is Mike and Roy again. And before we leave, I just want to address one last issue on Measure B. We know Measure B passed, of course. We fought really hard to get the information out to the public of the negative impacts that now we're going to be dealing with.
I would like to believe that the 8,900 people who voted no will come to see that they can trust us. I completely understand the lack of trust in government today.
After the fact, some of us found out that there was a large contribution from Visit Burbank. And that's really troubling because Visit Burbank used public funds to support Measure B. I know of at least one contribution up to $50,000. And we have city staff members on the board of this Visit Burbank, and our tax dollars go to their salaries. So I feel like my tax dollars went to support Measure B.
It was very difficult to sit here week after week, resolved not to campaign from here.
The irony to me of public funds being used to fight what a lot of the public thought was an abomination.
Yeah.
Measure B. There was a lot of money spent. In fact, we were outspent 1,000 to 1. So
Yeah.
I'm really proud of the fact that we were able to get the word out as much as we did and get
Yeah,
as many
me
votes
too.
our way as we could.
We're not in the midst of private meetings with every special interest group. You get our time as much as anyone else does, and more if you want it.
No wonder it passed. I mean, hundreds of thousands of dollars went into passing this, from the airport authority putting it on this, rushing it to this November ballot, and then all these contributions from big developers. Visit Burbank, real estate conglomerate, and our own city council members. Well, I know one of them contributed.
I'm very proud of the 4 colleagues I have who, or the 3 colleagues I have who.
And I want to clarify, have never been and are not anti-airport. This was never about slamming the airport. We all love it and use it and love it the way it is. The issue is that this really was a power grab and a land grab.
Yeah.
That's what was the underlying, and our loss of governance going forward.
Yep, and Burbank residents didn't know that. And the pro Measure B people didn't tell them. So we're going to keep at it. This is Mike and Roy.